This platform might look quiet right now, but purpose doesn't need permission. Sometimes the smallest voices are trusted with the biggest stories. I don't got it all, that's why I pray. I lift the names when I can't find words to say. Small but mighty, walking by faith. If I can't change it all, I still believe change can start today. I don't got it all, that's why I pray. For the lost, the missing, led astray. This platform's small, but God's not contained. And we never ever know what love can do once it's shared. I'm not rich in numbers, not loud on the screen, but every case I cover got weight in between. Faces on flyers, names people forget. I speak them out loud so they're never silenced. Yet I don't chase clout, I chase truth. Every live stream feels like a prayer in the booth. For the mom still waiting, the dad still searching, for the families hurting while the world keeps turning. They say, what can one voice read do? But I've seen hope rise when a community moves. So I show up steady, even when it's heavy, trusting God with the parts I can't carry. Got it all, that's why I pray. I lift the names when I can't find words to say. Small but mighty, walking by faith. If I can't change it all, I still believe change can start today. I don't got it all, that's why I pray. For the lost, the missing, led astray. This platform's small, but God's not contained. And we never know what love can do once it's shared. Every time I go live, I ask one thing: send prayers up higher than algorithms, because awareness is good, but faith goes further, and prayer reaches places we never could. I don't promise answers, I promise care. A space where compassion still lives right here. Victim-focused, truth-driven, heart-led, always standing in the gap on the hardest days. If you're watching this tide, scared or alone, I hope you feel seen through the screen in your home, because God hears whispers, not just the loud, and He's working right now, even in the crowd. So we pray for the missing every single time. We pray for the answers in God's perfect time. Small seeds planted, faith multiplied. Miracles don't need a spotlight. I don't got it all, that's why I pray. Still believing God's moving, even today. Small but mighty, called by name. And I trust what He's doing even when I can't see the way. This is Mo and Cole. Say a prayer for the missing. Say a prayer for their families. And before you go, say your prayers. Take your vitamins. And remember, even something small can do really big things.
Hey guys, how are we today? I'm so glad to see you guys. I Last week I was looking into a case of a 72-year-old veteran that had went missing, and I had everything ready to go to spread awareness for her, and she was unfortunately found deceased. And but today we're here to talk about Challistia. And hey, Grateful, how are you? And Music City Mom and CCM, how are you? I'm so glad to see you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. She says this happens on the res all the time and no one seems to care. Well, I'll tell you that, like my intro says, we're small but mighty. My community cares so much, and it's not that I choose a certain ethnicity or culture to speak about. I choose the cases to spread awareness about that aren't covered in the algorithm, and unfortunately it tends to be cases like this, so we'll do our very, very best. And you guys, um I've never been out west, so I'm not sure what it's like out there. But I'm from a holler in Kentucky. Hey Nicole, how are you? Good to see you. And I got this background today, and I was showing Foxy. You guys know my friend from England, and he couldn't believe how the grass looked. And this background looks exactly like my holler with the mountains in the background, and so I had to put this up here for you guys. Um, Thank you, Grateful. Um, and Today, also, you guys, I have been thinking about little Malika Boone, and there hasn't been much out about her at all, but there was an update yesterday that I wanted to share with you guys, first of all. And so let me get that. Oh, but let me tell you this too. Sorry, guys. My attention span. I prepare a whole lot for these lives, but then when I get here, everything it gets all jumbled up, and so I try my very best. But you guys remember when we spoke about Bessel and James a few weeks ago? Me and Neat, she wasn't in NamUs, and me and Neat Noodle, it was on January 31st is when I tried to upload her profile to NamUs. And this is the first time I'd ever done it because I didn't know that we could upload them ourselves. And so I didn't know how long it would take, and I was afraid that I did something wrong. And hey Tony, good afternoon. Good to see you. And so I was afraid I did something wrong. So I emailed them once and they didn't answer. And so I emailed them again, and they said that my entry was a duplicate entry. So apparently somebody else had tried to upload her before, and they said that they're waiting on the investigating agency before they can upload her profile because I don't know, they have to get some kind of permission or something. So I'm wondering when the other person tried to add her and why it's the Lummi police that have to agree that she can be added. So if they don't add her soon, Neat Noodle spoke to her son Ron, and we're gonna see if he can let them know that because it means a lot to us to add her, and I know that it means so much to him, and so we are going to get that done, you guys. And once I figure out how to add her, we each can add 5 per month, so that'll help a whole bunch. um Thank you, CCM. Thank you so much. Hey Trista, how are you? Good to see you. That's okay, we love you bunches too. Okay, so I'll tell you guys this update about Malika Boone first. Let me see here. So she was that little girl that went missing on January 15th, and there was a turquoise alert for her. And we know that the turquoise alert were named after Emily. And sometimes they help you guys. Sometimes we need them and don't get them, and so they're still trying to work things out about that. But there was one for her, but she was unfortunately found the next day. And it says the Federal Bureau of Investigation in Phoenix, Arizona, and the Navajo Nation Police Department are seeking the information regarding the death of 8-year-old Malika Molly Boone. On January 15th, 2026, at approximately 6 p.m., Boone was reported missing from her neighborhood in Coal Mine, Arizona, on the Navajo Nation. Boone left one family member's home at approximately 4:15 p.m. to return to the home in which she lived. Both residences are in the same neighborhood and in close proximity to each other. Boone's body was located in a field within the coal mine neighborhood at approximately 8:30 a.m. on January 16, 2026. If you have any information concerning this case, please contact the FBI's toll-free tip line at 1-800-CALL-FBI. So, but there was a video yesterday. I know, you guys, itty bitty. And when we were little, how many times did we go from our house to the little friend girl neighbor's house? Back and forth. It was no problem. But unfortunately, they believe that, in this case, has been really kept on the down low. I don't think that there's been any press conferences or anything like that. But yesterday I found this video, and they're now saying that they believe that she was hit by a car. And so I'll share this with you guys. I always try to share the links straight to the videos when I play them. So if you guys need to go back to them later, and I'll drop that in the chat. You guys, what was going on yesterday? I was in Crime Chronicles chat, and I'm a mod there, and nobody could see me. And I thought I was blocked at first, and I thought, no, there's no way unless it was a glitch or an accident or something. But that was crazy. So if you guys come in here and we're not speaking to you, it's not that we're being rude. It's that we can't see you. And so they need to get that fixed. But we'll watch this right fast.
Tonight, new information in the death of an 8-year-old girl on the Navajo Nation, leading investigators to believe that she was hit and killed by a truck. Thanks so much for joining us. For 12 News at 10, I'm Kariba Devine.
And I'm Troy Hayden. Malika Boone was found dead along Cedar Loop Road just outside of Tuba City last month after her family reported her missing. 12 News journalist Gabriela Becerra is in studio with a new plea for help now from the FBI. What's going on, Gabby?
Well, Troy Karibe, the FBI is asking people who live in or near the Coal Mine Navajo Housing Authority to think back to the evening of January 15th, hoping this new information will help jog the memory of someone who knows what happened to this young girl. Now more than a month since 8-year-old Malika, or Molly Boone, was found dead on the Navajo Nation, investigators have new reason to believe she was struck by a car.
It might have been a tragic accident, and there's nothing wrong with coming forward and talking to us about that for one big reason, and that big reason is to get resolution for Molly's family, who lost an 8-year-old child and grandchild.
Boone had been out playing in her coal mine neighborhood and never returned.
You guys, recently, when I've been praying for these cases like I do, I try to remember to pray for that whoever may know any information, for courage, for them to be able to step forward, and also for the perpetrator or perpetrators in these cases, for their hearts to become unhardened and have to unburden themselves and tell the truth. And so that's needed, especially in this case. And if you don't want to do it for, there's a $12,000 reward, so do it for that reason, and you can remain anonymous.
Returned home the evening of January 15th. She was reported missing, and her body was found the following day.
We're hoping people can jog their memories back to that day, back to that night. Maybe they've heard from neighbors or friends about maybe they hit something when they were driving through town.
Kevin Smith, a spokesperson with the FBI Phoenix Field Office, tells me Boone's autopsy and close examination of her injuries leads investigators to believe it was a big vehicle, possibly a pickup truck that struck the girl, but they don't have exact details.
We're starting from scratch on that. We don't have any video. We don't have anything of that matter.
Investigators say Boone was likely walking home along Cedar Loop Road within the Coal Mine Navajo Housing Authority when the incident happened. They want to hear from people who know which cars traveled that roadway between 5:50 and 6:20 p.m. on January 15th.
It's kind of a remote area that one would have to want to be there or need to be there to be traversing it.
Investigators aren't ruling out other possible causes of death. Smith hopes the person who does know what happened to Boone comes forward.
That is really important, to get resolution for Molly and for her family. And to come forward is the right thing to do.
Anyone with information about this case or a possible vehicle traveling in that area during that time is asked to contact investigators at 1-800-CALL-FBI, or you can submit a tip online at tips.fbi.gov. The FBI is offering a $25,000 reward in this case. In studio.
So they have narrowed down the time frame, so that's good. And they also have somewhat narrowed down the vehicle to a larger vehicle, and that just breaks my heart too, you guys, just thinking about that little baby. Hopefully I just found this yesterday, so hopefully they get a lot of tips since this has came out. Thank you guys. Good to see you, Jill, and Popcorn and M&Ms. How are you? Yes, absolutely. We always need to pray for all these families, you guys. CCM says, when I was in middle school, a friend of mine was jumped and left in a field on the res. So sad. I still remember him. He was also Native. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I'm so very sorry. Aaron says, Soma, was she found in her neighborhood? Yes, she was found in her neighborhood. I think that she was walking from a friend's house back home or walking from her home to a friend's house, but I think that she was walking back home. Yeah, and they reported her missing very, very soon after she hadn't been seen, so that was really good. We don't see that in a lot of cases. So you guys, last week we spoke about Emily Pike, and there are some similarities to Challistia, and that's how I actually found Challistia's case. Is when I went to look for updates in Emily's case, I found her spoken about, and there are some similarities, but I also don't want us to forget that Challistia, she needs her own spotlight. She needs her own justice, like I said in my community post. And that's another thing, you guys. Whenever I do a live stream, I also try to put the information on my community post so it's easier for you guys to share that way. And you can just take a screenshot of the information and you don't even have to share my channel. I always say that. And the help numbers to help in this case are going across the bottom of my ticker, and they're also in my description. Okay, so Emily, she lived on the San Carlos Reservation, and Challistia, she lived on the White Mountain River Reservation, and they were actually together at one point, and they were just now not just now, in like 1897 they were separated. And let me show you guys how close they were, and it's right here. I don't know if you can see my mouse or not. It's right there, and they were found about 90 miles apart. So, and neither one of them have justice so far. So let me tell you guys this first. It says the BIA is seeking information about the death of Challistia Colelay, a 16-year-old member of the White Mountain Apache tribe found deceased in White River, Arizona on November 3rd, 2025. So just a few months ago. Thank you, Popcorn. Thank you so very much. I really, really, really appreciate that. And I think that if I do this, that it should drop the link. And you guys, I don't know why that the FBI isn't involved in this case. I don't think that they are. It's still just the Bureau of Indian Affairs. There we go. That link will take you straight to her profile there. So let's see here. She was 16 years old, and she had a huge family. There were 12 of them, and she was the baby of the family, and they called her Tia, or baby girl. I'm the baby of my family too, but there's only a few of us. Oh, absolutely stunning. Beautiful little girl. she loved crafting, and she loved going outside and riding the back roads with her family. And I saw in a vigil that they had for her outside of her house, the speaker was speaking. I'll show you guys that. Let me show you that. On this one, though, they said that that she had 6 brothers and 10 sisters, though. So more than 12, but I got there was 12 of them from her GoFundMe. Let me see if I can find it again. I'll look for that. But you guys, I have to tell you that about this area, and there is a few things that I'm concerned about in this area. So I'll share that with you guys first too. Just this past January, there was and this could totally not have anything to do with it, you guys, but I just want to share and be completely transparent. And there was a White Mountain Apache officer. He was an officer from 2007 until 2024, and he has recently been charged with some sexual assaults and kidnapping. One of the persons was under 18. And so I don't know if this has to do with anything, but I just want to share with you guys, just for transparency, like I said.
A newly released indictment revealing details on serious allegations against a former tribal officer. Last night we reported on the arrest of Carl Leslie.
And you guys, I don't know if all of you know or not, but my little brother is in law enforcement. And so I love law enforcement, but just like any occupation or any neighborhood or any town, there's good apples and there's bad apples, right? And this is a community of 14,000 people. And so there's 2 that I want to speak about that are not the best, This just caught my eye because one of the alleged victims is under 18. And this was just in January.
He is charged with sexual abuse and kidnapping.
The FBI says the incidents happened while he was on duty. Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum joins us live after speaking exclusively with a former co-worker of the suspect. Justin.
We are finally getting a look at this 15-count indictment listing federal charges against Carl Leslie. The former White Mountain Apache officer appeared in court yesterday, and if convicted on these counts, he could face a maximum sentence of life in prison. The FBI believes there are more victims on the reservation. Tonight, we're learning more about 42-year-old Carl Leslie following his arrest. A witness shared this photo of the scene at the Canyon Day home where FBI and SWAT took Leslie into custody Wednesday morning.
This is really shocking to learn about him, and it's unfortunate because the community.
Guys, her last name right there, DeClay, there is a Markeisha DeClay, and she was found only, I think it was 4 minutes or 4 miles from where Challistia was found, and it was 2 years before, I think, and they had ruled her death no foul play. And so what are the chances that 2 little girls would be found deceased in the same area, so close together like that? And I don't know. I wish that they would look into her death more too. But this lady's last name reminded me of that.
They put a lot of trust in our officers. And when something like this happens, it really destroys that trust.
Danielle DeClay used to work in law enforcement, including the Salt River Police. But from 2011 to 2014, she was an officer for White Mountain Apache PD, a co-worker of Carl Leslie. She says they even went to the same middle school.
Carl was just one of those guys that kept to himself, and he was somebody I worked with. We never became friends, even though we knew each other our whole life. We weren't friends.
Now Leslie is charged with 15 counts in this indictment, including aggravated sexual abuse, kidnapping, sexual abuse through fear and coercion of rights under color of law, and kidnapping a victim under 18. The alleged incidents happened between December 2020 and September 2023. The FBI says Leslie raped and kidnapped 2 of the 3 victims, one of them a minor. The indictment also says he had sex with a 3rd victim by threatening her. All the victims.
Trigger warning, you guys, trigger warning. I'm sorry, I should have said that before this video started. Last time when I played the body cam of Emily Pike, I did warn you guys, but I didn't warn you enough how upsetting it would be, so I'm really going to try to be better about that. I know, CCM. I know.
Victims are members of the White Mountain Apache tribe. FBI agents believe Leslie targeted women and men between 2019 and 2024. As for the color of law, civil rights attorney Benjamin Taylor explains.
Anybody in the federal role who has law enforcement agency experience has to fall under the color of law to make sure that they are not violating the law themselves.
And not abusing their position of power to violate people's constitutional rights. Photos from the White Mountain Apache Police Facebook show Carl Leslie in years past at community events. He worked for the department from April 2007 through June 2024. Heath Yonke, special agent in charge at FBI Phoenix, believes there are more potential victims.
My message to those victims, or to those that know of other victims, please come forward and report your information to the FBI.
Right now would be a great time to say something. Otherwise, this is going to be swept under the rug.
The FBI's questionnaire
Hang on,
website,
guys. Something else
fox10phoenix.com,
is
if you
playing.
know of it.
Sorry, guys, my other one that I had lined up started playing. There is one more bad thing that I want to tell you guys that I discovered about this community. And it's weird that all of this started coming out. It started coming out in October. And when I tell you guys more about Challistia, she went missing in October. And that's when these investigations, from what I could find, started, and then more came out about them in January. So I want to tell you guys one more bad thing about this community, and then I found that TikTok to show you the good of this community, and there's so much good. There is a chairman who is he is being charged with assault and sexual harassment, I believe it is. And it was a lady that worked with him. She was actually the human resources in his office. And so I wanted to show you guys that. And the news station dug up a little bit more of his history, which is not good. Police Department too, just like the last fellow that we watched. That just hit my brain that's a coincidence too. Which this was something that happened in 1989, so far back, but this was reported, and we know that a lot of things, for every one thing that is reported, there's many that aren't reported,
And Casey Velasquez was an officer for the White Mountain Apache Police Department. I obtained records on Velasquez from the Arizona Peace Officer Standards and Training Board. Case notes say on February 1st, 1989, Velasquez engaged in sexual misconduct with a detained female passenger. Documents say that 1 year before the incident, he stopped that same woman for a speeding violation and stuck his head through the passenger side window to kiss her. The woman alleged that Velasquez grabbed her by her shoulder, kissed her, and tried to put his hand inside her jacket before she stopped him. Velasquez resigned from White Mountain Apache Police just a few weeks after the 1989 incident. He then joined the Navajo Division of Public Safety until 1991. It wasn't until 1994 when the Arizona Law Enforcement Officer Advisory Council dismissed the sexual misconduct case because too much time had passed. Records say Velasquez initially
What? So it was reported in 1989 and then they dismissed it in 1994 because it was so very old. Well, whose fault is that? You know?
requested a hearing, but then his attorney withdrew from the case. Officials said Velasquez seemed indecisive about pursuing the matter.
On behalf of the White Mountain Apache tribe located on the Fort Apache Indian Reservation in the state of Arizona.
Fast forward to October 2025, after Velasquez, the chairman of the White Mountain Apache tribe, now on administrative leave, while the Bureau of Indian Affairs is investigating the sexual misconduct claims against him by his employee, Wendy Ruiz.
On administrative leave. Well, what I have found, you guys remember that Travis Turner, the coach at in Virginia that got in trouble, that disappeared when he was charged for those crimes against children. Well, I found, okay, he went missing in November, went quote unquote missing in November. And then I found that the school board had been paying him until February. So I'm wondering if this guy, he's on administrative leave too. Wonder if he's getting paid.
Please.
It was the arm around my neck and whatever pressure point he was doing, that alarmed me. And that was wrong. There was no professionalism, no respect, and no boundaries of my personal space.
I reached out to Velasquez's attorney for comment regarding.
Guys, there is a 23-minute interview of that lady, and I watched it all. And maybe we could watch that sometime too. But it was bad. It was really, really bad, and it would have definitely scared me too. And we need to praise and stand behind victims when they come forward, because I can't imagine what kind of courage that takes, you know? Okay, so that is the two bad things that I wanted to show you guys. Well, of course, before we get into what happened to Challistia, let me tell you guys the timeline about what happened with her, and then I'll show you the video from her community, and it shows how good they are there and how much they care for each other there. And it reminds me a lot of my holler, you guys. Let me go on a side tangent here. When people talk about the holler and they make fun of them and stuff like that, it gets on my last nerve, because I could go up in the holler anywhere around here and I could take you guys, and they may not know me, but they would help me. They would give me their last dollar, and they would give us food, set us up at their table, and that it reminds me a lot of this community too. So I don't want you guys to think that this is bad. This is a really bad place, you know, but I have to be transparent and show you both things, you know, that I've found. Okay, so Challistia, she in 2024, she did run away twice, but her family says that it is she would go between her adopted parents' house and her bio mother's house, and so she would always turn back up, and this time was different. And it was on October the 16th, and she went to her friend's house, and they said that they had contact with her, and then they stopped having contact with her. And so on the 27th, her bio mom made this post on Facebook. and it says an ATL, so an attempt to locate, was made, and police report was made on my daughter, Challistia Colelay. Her Facebook name is Tia Colelay. Please, I would really appreciate it if someone knows her whereabouts, or if you've seen anywhere, please tell her to call me mom or something, just so I would know if she's okay. We have our ups and downs, but being a mom, I worry about her. Tia, if you see this, please, girl, call me. I just want you home. And so, well, thank you for stopping by, Coffee. Thank you so very much. And so that was on the 27th. And you guys, when I found that Facebook post, it broke my heart, because the White Mountain Apache Police Department on the November the 3rd, they posted this. And when this was posted, everybody was coming back over to this post that her mama had made and were telling her that a body was found. And I just, it makes it, I just can't even talk about it trying to think about that, you know. So this is what they posted. It says, today our agency, along with federal agents, recovered a body near the community of Knott's Landing in White River, Arizona. So this was less than a mile from her house. And it says, the following in the clothing description located on the unknown human remains found on scene. Size 8.5 black Converse high tops, black and white in color plaid pants, tan in color shirt, described as tall with a thin build and long brown hair. And then they leave their phone number. And I think, you guys, this picture that her mama had posted, look what she's wearing. She's wearing Converses and black and white plaid pants. And so they made official confirmation on the 5th. Her mama says that they tell her what the remains were wearing, and she identified her that way. So I have a little, I have a video of her mama speaking a little bit too, here, that we can watch.
Human remains discovered in White River, Arizona this week have been identified by family as those of a 16-year-old missing girl.
Officials have released very few details on this investigation, but Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum's been looking into it. He joins us live after.
And guys, I don't know if I just know this Justin Lum fella from Emily's case, or if I know him from another case, but he is such a good reporter. He's right on top of things. He reminds me of Brian Enton a little bit. He's a really good fella.
Speaking with the girls' loved ones.
And we have reached out to White Mountain Apache Police, as the agency's Facebook post on the remains found does not specifically identify this girl we now know as 16-year-old Challistia Colelay, according to her family. Comments on the post have been disabled, but we're hearing from Tia's mother as she reported her missing just last month.
She's always run away. She's always taking off, running all over the place, but she'll come home.
Tonight, the biological mother of Challistia Colelay is still in shock. In a phone interview, she tells me 16-year-old Tia had run away before, but always came home. She usually lived with her adoptive mother or visited her mom, Lula. It was around October.
And guys, the Department for Public Safety, they're the ones, so the investigative agency, they have to contact the DPS and request a turquoise alert. Well, when news sites found out that there was not a turquoise alert listed for her, and they wanted to know why, DPS said that they weren't even contacted, like the White Mountain Apache Police didn't even try to get that alert for her. And they said also that, remember I told you she went missing twice in October of 2020, in 2024, I don't know if it was October, but 2024. They said this is actually the first time that they have heard about her at all. So they weren't contacted about her previous 2 times she went missing, or this time. I just wanted to add that too.
16th when Lula says Challistia went missing from Rainbow City in Navajo County. By October 28th, Lula created a Facebook post after notifying White Mountain Apache Police about her attempt to locate her daughter.
My heart started hurting, and then all of a sudden, people start tagging me.
On Monday, White Mountain Apache PD announced the discovery of human remains in the area of Knott's Landing. Lula immediately called police.
All I wanted to know, is it a female or a male? And she said it's a female.
Authorities described the victim as being tall with a thin build and long brown hair, wearing a tan t-shirt, black and white plaid pants, and high-top sneakers. Last night, Lula says police matched evidence with the description that she provided regarding the last time she saw Tia.
All the pictures, that her bracelets, her necklace, her shoes, her phone, everything else that they showed me was about her. That's when they said that, well, we're saying that that is her.
We reached out to Arizona DPS to see if White Mountain Apache PD ever requested a turquoise alert. A spokesperson says no formal request was made, but it's up to the investigating agency to determine.
Guys, there was a big to-do maybe a month or so ago, and there was a turquoise alert that was early in the morning, and people were complaining about that. Dude, it's like they get it out. It takes a while to get everything verified and approved and everything, and they get it out as fast as they can, and it could literally mean life or death, so don't complain about that. Hey, Carl, how are you? Good to see you.
Determine if the case meets statutory criteria before contacting DPS for the alert. DPS says this is the first time officials have been made aware of Challistia's case, but has since learned she was reported missing twice in October of 2024. Ultimately, both cases closed. Meanwhile, Lula is left without answers on her daughter's death.
I really know if, like you said, if it's foul play, if it's a murder.
And loved ones tell me that the autopsy for Tia is scheduled tomorrow. Meanwhile,
and I don't have anything about what happened to her, as in her cause of death. I don't know that part never came out. But in a later video that I'm going to show you guys, her family didn't learn that it was a homicide from the police. They learned it from somebody else, and they had to go to the police and ask them about that. So then, let's see here. So I think that was the day after that she was identified. And so now let's see what comes in our timeline. Is the criteria for a turquoise alert similar to an amber alert? Yes, it has to be a Native American under age 65, because over 65, I think there is another alert for that. And so it's just a Native American under 65, and they can't be ran away. Like, there has to be something that points to foul play. And I remember those things specifically, but I'll have to see what else is the criteria, but I remember that for sure. So we saw that one. Okay, and then this is the 4th. So then they're updating everybody. The human remains that were located on November 3rd, 2025, near the community of Knott's Landing, located in White River, Arizona, were identified. The family notification was completed by the investigative law enforcement authorities today. And so then I believe... So this is the next day after that. It says the BIA-4 Apache Agency and the White Mountain Apache Tribal Police are continuing to investigate this case to bring closure to Challistia Colelay's family and community, and justice to those responsible. At this time, we do not have additional information to share. Any members of the community with information related to Challistia's death are encouraged to please call the BIAMMMU hotline. And so I do have all of this in the ticker across the bottom of my screen and in my description, and I believe also on my community tab. And thank you, Carl. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that they also have one for people with mental health issues. There is one that's a clear alert, and I think that they're different in every state too, guys. And so this is a few days later after that, they're doing a search and they're asking the public to stay out of the area. And then after that, what I see on their Facebook mostly is they're announcing that there is a $5,000 reward. And you guys, this makes me really sad. I just got to tell you about it, okay? So Emily Pike, there is a $200,000 reward, right? Well, why is there just a $5,000 reward in Challistia's case? They're both Apache teenagers. Their murders are both unsolved. They were found within 90 minutes or 90 miles and 45 minutes from each other, I believe. And that just makes me sad. Yeah, Jill. Jill says, do you think the reason they didn't consider her a runaway because her mom said she always came back? Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. That is if they, and also, okay, like, you could leave your house, say that you get angry and leave and want to walk around the block. You know, they would consider that running away. But what if you get 2 feet from your door and somebody abducts you? You know, they're not safe when they leave their home. And so I don't understand what it matters if they're a runaway or not, considered quote unquote runaway or not. You know, I'll always be angry about that. And I think that here, this video, this tells us a little more about the alerts. I believe it's this one.
Tonight, 12 News has confirmed the death of a teen girl on the Fort Apache Indian Reservation is now being investigated as a homicide. Good evening and thanks so much for joining us for 12 News at 10. I'm Kariba Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. The remains of 16-year-old Challistia Colelay were found near the community of Knott's Landing in White River, about 180 miles northeast of Phoenix. 12 News journalist Gabriella Becerra is here in studio with the latest developments in this investigation. Gabby?
Well, Mark Caribe, Challistia Colelay's remains were first discovered 1 week ago today, but we've learned she had been missing since at least the week prior. Tonight, what happened to her remains a mystery. Outgoing, funny, and goofy are the words family uses to describe 16-year-old Challistia Colelay, or Tia, as many knew her. Tia was the baby of her family, the youngest of 6 brothers and 6 sisters. She was creative and loved being outdoors. In October, Tia left home for a friend's house and never returned. Her family filed a missing person report, and on November 3rd, her remains were found less than 1 mile away from her home in White River. Tia's shoes, clothes, and jewelry confirmed it was her. The Bureau of Indian Affairs for
CCM says, runaway or not, I would still be making sure she was okay and trying to find her. My goodness, those are my thoughts 1000%. And actually, there was a case that I covered, I believe it was in Ohio, and this little girl had, they say she quote unquote ran away from a group home, and they had put that on their police Facebook and everywhere. Well, something really bad happened to her, and so she was actually trafficked, you know, and so they decided not to use those words runaway anymore. They made that their rule from then on. They were not going to say that because of what happened to her, and I think that's great, and that all law enforcement should consider not using those words anymore.
Fort Apache Agency and White Mountain Apache Tribal Police are investigating Tia's death as a homicide and searched the area her body was found last weekend. The agencies tell 12 News in a statement they want to bring closure to Tia's family and justice to those responsible.
Not again. Just not again. We're not here again. Like, did we not learn anything?
Rhonda DeCure, the founder of Missing in America Network, sees cases like Tia's daily. She's calling on legislators and law enforcement leaders to come up with better ways to let communities know when a child is missing.
I never even knew that Challistia was missing. I never knew until she was found. And the same goes for Emily Pike. And Emily Pike went missing 2 miles from my home.
Emily Pike, a 14-year-old girl and member of the San Carlos Apache tribe, was found dead near Globe last February.
And guys, also in a video that I watched, when this news anchor, when she went to a vigil there on a reservation, she spoke to some people who knew both Emily and Challistia, and I don't know what that means, but I hope that the police are looking into that. And that just gives me chills too. That what are the odds? What are the odds? I don't know, but I do know that I was telling my mama the other day that we have to be so careful, us as women. Everybody does really these days, but we have to be so careful as women. And I said, Mom, what if we had to worry 4 times as much? Native American women are 4 times more likely to be hurt than us, and that makes me really sad to you guys, because I worry enough as it is already. And if you had to worry 4 times as much, oh my goodness.
After disappearing from a group home in Mesa. Her murder remains unsolved, but sparked the creation of the Turquoise Alert, a public notification that is sent out to find endangered individuals under the age of 65.
I don't believe that it has turned out to be exactly what people expected it would be.
A Turquoise Alert was never issued for Tia, and advocates say it's unclear if she would have qualified. According to the Arizona Department of Public Safety, which issues these alerts, no formal request was made for a Turquoise Alert by the investigating agency.
And I reached out to the White.
That's why I was telling you guys. So they didn't request an alert. So if they don't approve Besselin's profile, it's not Namos's fault. They told me that they're waiting for the investigative agency, which is the Lummi Police. If they don't approve her case soon to be added to Namos, that is a huge resource. They do so much, and if they don't approve that soon, I told Neat that we're gonna make sure that I told her, I said, I'll make my own list if I have to. Besselin is getting on that list. It's Arizona, it is bad, because a lot of the cases that I cover are in Arizona. My friend, one of my friends lives there, and the group homes are awful there, and it's a big issue. DCS was never, they said they were never involved with Challistia, which is great, but they're involved with a lot of children in Arizona, it seems like. Way more than anywhere that I can find, and that's a big problem too, because the Native American children, they're actually under the tribe still. So when they go into DCS, they in a lot of cases, they don't even the DCS don't even have cover sheets or photos of these children, of these Native American children. So it's just a huge problem, you guys, and I won't get off on that side topic, but Arizona is a huge problem, and the group homes are a huge problem there. So I did find that TikTok now that I wanted to show you guys. That was, let me show you guys that. So this was, I believe it was on November 22nd. So she was found on November 3rd. And there is this fella, this advocate, and I've seen him in a few videos. And so I got that from, this is his TikTok.
Montero, Opa, Chalice, Chavez, Colelay, Crispin Quintero, Joshua Kisei, Noah Henry, 10 sisters, Marlinda and Berdella Truax, Naomi Foster, Challistia, Chalandra, Vanessa, May, Lillian, and Ariel Kisei. Many aunts and uncles and relatives. She was 16 years old and would have been 17 on December 1. She loved camping, fishing, being outdoors, driving through the back road, and especially loved camping at Diamond Creek camp meeting. She was very outspoken and not a shy girl at all. Of all the extended family, Auntie Cynthia plays a big part in everything. Her heart is also broken, but she gives the rest of us our daily hug and makes sure that we're okay. Tia also had a sister named Lillian that she would call Ladybug, Manbug, or Billybug. She would tell family Lillian was her BFF. She also had cousins that will miss her. 4 cousins that are all 16 together. Tia, Amber, Lillian, and Ashlyn. But Tia will be forever 16. For Chalice and Lula May, they want everybody to know that it was an honor to be her mom and dad. She brought joy to our lives. We will always remember her and carry her memories in our heart. We miss her smile. We miss her voice. We miss her presence. We just want her back. We cry daily. And doing this walk is to remember her. And for Jeremy and Eileen, they want you to know we thank God for bringing you into our lives, Tia. We will always remember you and thank you for letting us help raise you. We will never forget your laugh and your smiling face. And her mother wrote a dear sweet message, forever 16, my sweet baby girl. You will never be forgotten. Your life was taken too soon. Now all we have are memories. We're going to miss you being with us, especially you being with us when you enjoyed the mountains, the church camp meetings, the summer camping, the fishing trips, everything. Your drawing, your paintings, and getting wood with your dad and sister. Rest in paradise, my sweet baby girl. Challistia Colelay. Say her name. Justice for my baby girl. Her sister wrote, my parents and us siblings are hurting to our soul. Tia was a huge impact in our lives, the whole family. With her gone, we all lost a bit of ourselves. With her caring, loving, silly, goofy self, I never saw Tia without a smile. Summer camping, fishing trips, and back road drives will never be the same. Our baby girl deserves justice. It won't bring her back, but the person responsible needs to be caught. So it will bring us a little bit of comfort. My baby sis was loved by so many, from the White Mountains to St. Carlos, to Hiquiquan, to St. John's, to California and the Valley. A sister, a daughter, an aunt, a cousin who will never see her 17th birthday. Thank you all for joining us with this walk and the support from out of town. We appreciate it. Please continue to keep us in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Forever 16, baby girl. Her older sister wrote, Tia always had a smile on her face, walking through my front door, and the first thing I see is her smile and her voice. She was a good auntie to Vea, always happy to play Nintendo with her and did anything for her. I'm gonna miss her smile and that laugh of hers. Always joking. Gonna miss you, baby girl. Love, your older sis. Okay, as we stand here and we speak her name, Challistia, we send that name into the wind. We want her name to be remembered. And her story, we want it to forever go on. This is how we keep it close. She came from a big, loving family, and they all supported one another through storm and sorrow. In our tribal tradition, our children are our closest relative. The closest relative, our child. So as we honor her today and you walk, say a prayer for her and her family. Say a prayer for every missing and murdered Indigenous person throughout the United States and Canada and beyond. Pray for justice. Pray for healing. Pray for strength for her family. pray that her spirit travels in peace back to our Heavenly Father. And thank you to the family for allowing us to share in this moment with all of you. And may you get comfort in your hearts. Ashok dana hewa ko sara no ste ko ye o was on no hichi dantas. Hichen dan jane no chala hichi. Han bijaje. Jo besta chijoe. No hichi gasa no hestan jora sana na ko ki imbe. To joyo out era. Da ko tio. To jona. No hichi dandi. Dako, that was called a less. O kahi chikolos. The hayo ye os ayo. Dako da haji. Hikyo hidano kata dos jeho less. Ashok no hesta japa. In there that was kahi dano se. Ashok the Challistia Colelay family the shindi stop. She late sister Phoebe Nez. Yishkahi adali uno ya. She's sister Aldine. Whatever she needed help with, especially Chavez. Thank you for helping my late sister Phoebe to the family. She loved the family. She always spoke good things about them. And it just pains me. Just shift muddy day. So the kosha no it was on seho. The tayo coat eh. Look at Yende President Trump. The A missing and murdered, hijo, but you may tiki the teha. Bauchajila shin ik and nice deho a tea, the needle the jena. Don't want you, Dante. Challistia, Benaman Diho, Biji, Adams Dio, Bibi, at the Iho, Kun, Nagala shin, but Ayuta Hatena. But justice for Tia, we all.
So see guys, they're really good people too. I just didn't want you guys to get the wrong idea about the two that I showed you at the beginning. Jill, I know in Emily's case, when they looked into the group home, basically the only thing when the investigation was into the group home, basically the only thing that they said was that they didn't contact the DCS hotline like they should have. So I don't know if they contacted her tribe and didn't do that or what, but that's the only thing they found with that group home. And I'm not sure exactly what it is, but there is a miscommunication there, big time. I will definitely look into that though. I screenshot that because I had never heard of that, so I really appreciate that. And so then the next thing is that on the 14th. And she was found on the 3rd. So 11 days later, her family says that a BIA agent comes to their house and tells them that a minor has been arrested in connection to her murder. Well, when the news agency Justin Lum reaches out to them a few hours later, they deny that and say, no, that's not true. The family was told that it was a minor not connected to the family. And so I don't know if the family thought that, you know how it is. They detain people for so long. So maybe this person was detained and then let go or what. I'm not sure. But I can tell you that there's been no suspects or persons of interest named or nobody arrested to this date that I know of. So I'll play you guys that video that tells more about that.
spokesperson over the phone, and when asked if they could confirm an arrest, they stated they had no information to release at the time. The White Mountain...
Guys, I wasn't sharing screen that whole time, but were you guys able to hear what they were saying? That the family says there was an arrest, but oh no. Okay, I'll fix it. I got it now. Let me see here.
New developments tonight in the murder of a 16-year-old girl in eastern Arizona near the community of White River. Thanks for joining us for 12 News at 10. I'm Kariba Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. A reward is now being offered for information in the case. And as Bianca Bono tells us, her family says 12 News tells 12 News there are significant developments in the case. Bianca?
Yeah, and although investigators with the Bureau of Indian Affairs are not yet confirming it, Colelay's family tells us an arrest has been made in the case. The family of 16-year-old Challistia Colelay, known to loved ones as Tia, saying there's been a massive break in the homicide investigation and an arrest has been made. They say a Bureau of Indian Affairs case agent visited them at their home on Thursday, informing them of the update. Family says the suspect is a minor and is not connected to them. Writing in a statement, while we take comfort in knowing that an arrest has been made, we recognize that the journey to healing and justice is still ongoing. But not long after the family confirmed the arrest, the BIA issuing a contradicting statement, writing, "At this time, the BIA Office of Justice Services has not made any arrests in the Challistia Colelay investigation, and the investigation remains active and ongoing." 12 News speaking with a White Mountain Apache tribal spokesperson over the phone, and when asked if they could confirm an arrest, they stated they had no information to release at the time. The White Mountain Apache teen went missing in late October.
So what do you guys think happened? The family says that it was a Bureau of Indian Affairs officer who came to their house and told them this, but then they deny it a few hours after. So I don't know. Something seems really sus about that.
And family posted to social media hoping for answers. Despite reporting her missing to tribal police, a statewide turquoise alert was not issued. The Department of Public Safety, which activates the alerts, stated it's the responsibility of the investigating agency to contact them to request an alert activation, saying White Mountain Apache Tribal Police never did. On November 3rd, tribal police announcing Tia's remains had been found near the community of Knott's Landing in White River. The Bureau of Indian Affairs is now assisting in the investigation, offering a $5,000 reward for information that leads to a conviction in the case. So again, conflicting reports from what we're being told by family who says BIA came to their home yesterday with that significant development versus what BIA is releasing tonight. The BIA says its investigation remains active and ongoing. If you have any information about what happened, call the BIA tip line at the number on your screen. We're live in studio tonight. Bianca Bono, 12 News.
All right, Bianca.
Sorry about that, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, Jill, I think that's about what it has to be, right? But obviously it didn't come to any fruition yet, right? Okay, let me see. There is one more thing that I wanted to show you guys where her family speaks. It's at 12 minutes here. I'll come back and get you guys this time. Promise. I haven't tried to talk muted yet today, though, so that's a plus.
We covered it as much as we could, and you recently spoke to Challistia's family, really for the first time on camera. It's not easy for them to do, and you also went to the vigil.
Yes. Let me see when this was. 2 weeks ago. So this is recent. This is good.
On the tribe's land, just outside of her home. I mean, this case, it has shaken up the community, similar in a way to Emily Pike. I mean, the circumstances are a little bit different.
Sure.
But what can you tell me about the very hyper-local response there? It seems like people are just like, enough is enough.
Yes, and I will tell you that was something that I was going to note, was that Emily's case, while that has gotten so much attention, rightfully so, I do feel like Tia's case has gotten that, as you mentioned, hyper fixated, this local group of people who are really passionate.
Yeah, guys, like I said, but they said that that Emily's case has gotten national attention, but Tia's case has a lot of local attention, which that is great too. And the locals can do a lot, keeping their eye on things and making sure that this case doesn't become a cold case. And actually, it was looking into Emily's case for updates is how I found Tia's case myself. So hopefully others will do the same, and that her reward is increased. I hope that they do that, because I don't know. It just really hurts my feelings that her reward is $5,000 and Emily's is $200,000. But it's like the age-old question: why do? And I'm so glad, because Emily's case, her case, getting national attention brings attention to all these other cases. So I'm not saying that, but it's like all of these, like we always say, the age-old question: like, why do some cases get attention? Like Nancy Guthrie, right? I have found 2 other missing mothers. I was going to speak about one earlier this week, but like I said, she was found deceased beside her car, so I didn't think there was any more awareness I could bring. But there's so many other mothers out there that deserve attention too, It just hurts my feelings sometimes, guys.
About it, people who knew Emily, these are 2 different Apache reservations, but there is a lot of overlap there in the community. And I've learned that there are a lot of people who know and knew both Tia and Emily. And so there is a lot of passion there within the reservation. But when you look at Tia's case, the biggest thing that I can point out from our reporting is that no turquoise alert was issued for her. Her family has told us time and time again that they reported her missing. She had left for a friend's home, never returned. And they said to me when we talked just last week, immediately there was a part of us missing. There was never a part of us that thought that she had run away or done anything. We didn't tell anyone that she had run away. There were some cases in the past where she had similar to Emily, some circumstances like any teenage girl might have.
Previously, there had been a report of a runaway, but this time.
But not this time. And I think that goes back to what I said during Emily, when we were discussing Emily's case, is that these are teenage girls. These are girls who are going through a lot of things, going through a lot of emotions. Any time that someone might make the decision to walk out their door, that doesn't mean that they are, inviting trouble in. And I think the issue with...
She said that so well. That's what we were saying earlier, guys. Just because a teen walks out their front door, they should be able to do that, and it doesn't mean that they're running away. They need found. And also, I think it's in this video or another video I watched, they said, okay, even if they do run away, and it's 1,000% that they ran away, they need to, law enforcement and DCS, if warranted, or tribal social services, need to figure out what they're running from and or what they're running to. And that made so much sense to me. Yes, find the source of the problem and fix that, even if it is quote unquote running away. But either way, they need help.
Tia's case is there was no turquoise alert. We have been told by multiple levels of law enforcement, including DPS, that the reason for that is there was no request for that by the local police department, which is one of the requirements.
So White Mountain Apache Police did not request for turquoise alert, hence the boxes weren't checked off, and she was missing for weeks.
And no higher law enforcement group could step in and do that. They have to have that police department, at least in the turquoise current legislative makeup, they have to have that local police department asking for help and exhausting their own resources before DPS or the FBI could get involved. Now, of course,
They need to fix
you know,
that. If the local agencies don't want to request the turquoise alert, then the BIA or the FBI should be able to. That doesn't make any sense to me.
fast forward, they found her, they determined this is a homicide, and now there is a lot more involvement. But when you look at her case, it's also, when you look at the reward for Emily, $200,000, Tia's case has $5,000. And so, going to that vigil at her family home, being invited onto the reservation for that, seeing the just devastation from her family, speaking with them last week. This is just as big of a deal as Emily's case. But yes, it has gone a little bit more under the radar, and we don't want that to happen. We want each of these cases to be discussed, and Tia's family even brought up Emily in our interview and said, we're just devastated with what's going on with that, with little Molly Boone going missing. These communities do really feel the pain of each one of these cases separately.
So Tia was found dead November 3rd, 2025, but she had been gone since around October 16th.
In just a few minutes, you guys, and this family, they're not ones to go in front of the media. And like I always tell you guys, some families do feel comfortable doing that and some don't. And it doesn't mean this or that. It doesn't mean their loved ones are loved any less. And it doesn't mean that they're suspects or nothing even closely like that. I don't think it's right to judge families like that, but this family hasn't. They're not big ones to go on camera and stuff like that. But in just a few minutes, her godmother and her mother and an aunt come on for just a few minutes. So I wanted us to watch this until we get to that. But you guys, did you see just a second ago her mama? Oh my gosh, pure agony. I don't have kids like you guys know, but I just could not imagine. I mean, losing my dad was hard, you guys, but that's the way the circle of life is, We're supposed to lose our parents. Unfortunately, I don't even like to talk about it. But the kids, you're not supposed to lose your kids,
And she didn't leave her specific home. I believe she had left family, friends home or someone. And where she was found is not too far away from. And that's eerie, as you are someone that went and visited this area and just imagining, okay, this is the length, this is the distance.
Right. It was all within a walking distance from where she left, where their home was, to the area where she was found. She easily could have walked. Now her family has been very vocal that she loved to go outdoors. She loved to do things out in the beautiful area that she grew up in White River. And so it's not surprising that she might have been out and about, but the idea of her going and supposedly having plans, never coming back from those plans, this family telling me yet again last week that they were missing her and they didn't feel like they got the support that they needed to bring her home. And we say every time that we cover a turquoise alert, we can't say for sure that having that issued would or would not save someone's life, but it is an important step that is taken to raise some awareness in the area where the person is missing.
And let's talk about another piece of our reporting. I remember this, where we broke the news that an arrest had been made. And this came straight from the family in a family statement that the Bureau of Indian Affairs had basically detained a minor not related to the family. The Bureau of Indian Affairs made sure to say that no arrest had been made. The question is, was someone in custody for some time period, and what happened then? We don't get a lot of clarity from BIA, and not like they're going to go and be super transparent when you have a homicide investigation, but it makes you wonder, okay, what has been done, who has been detained, how many people have been questioned, and is this suspect someone that was known to her? I mean, it seemed like in this community, everyone knows everyone. Who was she with last, and who was she with when she left? I mean, you can just imagine all the thoughts and questions going through loved ones' minds. they live right here in this area.
I think that is something that, you know, in each of these cases, Emily's, of course, you have that larger distance between Mesa, where she went missing, and where she was found out near Globe and near the reservation. But with Tia and then with Molly, these girls were found very close to where they went missing and right there in their home community. And so that raises an alarm too of, you know, as we're continuing to report on these cases, we have to ask the questions of what kind of person, what kind of perpetrator would know that area, what kind of person would know, you know, where to take a girl, potentially a body, depending on how, you know, how long they had been dead, and know where to put that body, and know where to
concentrated
conceal
area.
it. Yes,
I see what you mean compared to 100 miles or so.
Right.
Case
it's
of
so
distance.
close. There's not as much, it seems like, and of course we don't, you know, this is speculation to some extent, but it seems like the crime is committed and the body is found all in this little radius for Tia and then for Molly, who we'll be talking about. And so that kind of heightens the awareness, I feel like, in these communities of what kind of person would know where to go and what this landscape is like, because these are rural areas out on these reservations.
And I don't want to forget, because I want people to make sure that, I mean, we are really the only ones to have heard and spoke to Tia's family. So let's take a listen to what.
Now, this is what I was wanting us to see, you guys. Her family speaks for just a minute here. I tried to find if there was a longer interview, but I couldn't find it.
Her family had to say about this case.
She's missed by everybody. You know, the kids all miss her. You know, the parents miss her. We miss her. You know, the sisters, brothers. You know, it's going to be different. You know, Kingpin and going back roads, all that stuff is going to be different. You know, the pizza box is missing now. You know, and we want justice for her. We don't want, you know, people to forget about her. You know, and as far as, you know, like, we haven't really heard nothing back. They just keep saying it's an ongoing investigation. You know, and that's what makes it harder, is that we want answers. You know, we want to know what happened, why this happened, you know. You know, it shouldn't have happened to her.
It's every day that we cry for her. It's hard. I can't stand it. It's just like, I look around for her thinking she's coming home.
And lastly here, we have the youngest victim in the cases we're talking about, Malika Molly Boone, 8 years old, disappeared January 15th. Just recently around 4:15 p.m. and she's reported missing just 2 hours later. And we do get a turquoise alert.
Yes.
So here it is, the process working, but I mean, this ends up tragic.
Yes, it was such a quick turnaround. And as I said at the very beginning of the episode, it seems like each of these cases, you get that shorter turnaround time to where now this little girl, 8 years old, is walking home from one family.
And this was before the update that I told you guys at the beginning of my stream, that now they believe that she was struck by a big vehicle, they say, and they've narrowed down the time frame, and there is a $25,000 reward. So the FBI wants you to call them. It's the same FBI number that I have in my description. So if you know anything about her case either, please call.
Friend resident to her other home and is gone and is found within a day. So Emily, you had weeks. Tia, you had a couple of weeks. Emily, you had nearly a month. And then Malika, it's the next day. There's a turquoise alert sent out. It's for the area. And that's another important,
She was alone.
Yes, that's another important detail, is that she, you know, it was for the area where she was missing, but we haven't heard anything really about her case in terms of whether or not it's actually been deemed a homicide. Now, there's all of the clues that indicate that. Why would the FBI be involved? Why would they be asking for information around her disappearance if they didn't think there was foul play? But we haven't had a press release or a press conference in this case either. We just know that she went missing and the next day she was found. Very quick turnaround.
I remember.
They, I do know, I kept looking to see, because if I decide, I have social anxiety really, really bad, you guys. And so to do my live streams, I research so much that I don't even come live about. I still try to share somehow, but I don't. So when I do go live, I try to use my time and your guys' time the best way that I can. And so if there's nothing that I can share to spread awareness about, then I don't do a live stream about it. And with her case, there was no information to share whatsoever since January the 16th. There's been nothing until yesterday. So hopefully now that they've released that what they believe to have been her cause of death and things like that, I pray that they get some more information in her case too. Let me show you guys this one more time. 1-800-CALL-FBI. You'd think I could remember that, huh? Oh my goodness. So I think that that's all that I have for you guys today about Challistia. Here is my Facebook too. I also shared the same thing that I shared on my community tab on Facebook, if it would be easier for you guys to share it that way. And I also want to share Trista that came in here. She works during the day, and so she stops by when she can. But she does a devotional each day on her community tab. So if you subscribe to her, you'd be able to see that every day, hopefully in your news feed. And then my moderator and friend Vanessa, she has a wonderful page too. She shares videos and pictures all the time of nature, and she's got an eye. I tell her all the time she has an eye for photography. She takes the most beautiful pictures, and she knows so much about nature. So please subscribe to her too. Well, thank you, Jill. Thank you all for hanging out with me today. I do have one more thing though that I want to share with you guys, because you know that I don't leave you on. I try to leave us with something good. And you guys remember Splash, the 2-year-old otter that has been what he does is he's been trained. So you guys know how Adventures with Purpose and stuff, well, that's a bad one to use because I don't subscribe to them anymore. But those people that go underwater and search for remains underwater and things like that, he does that. So like if they would take a dog out on a boat, and if a dog smells the scent, then he would go down and alert to remains or not. And remember we watched him, Mind of Monsters, they call her Mom. She went, remember we watched her TikTok where she went and saw him. And you did, Jill? Mind of Monsters, she went to we watched her TikTok one day, and she shared about him. And so recently he was gonna help in this other case. They ended up finding the lady, thank God, somewhere else, so she wasn't underwater. But I thought that we could watch that before we go, because last time we watched him, we all wanted an otter. So we'll watch him again. My mama said no more dogs, but she didn't say not one thing about no otters, you guys. So you think that I could talk her into it?
Tonight, an extraordinary tool in the search for a missing Pensacola woman, a specially trained otter.
Yes, an otter, you heard correctly. Pensacola police bringing in this trained animal yesterday as that search intensified.
The otter can do what very few other animals can, and he's helped with missions across the country. Our Claudia Nichols joining us now with what happened.
Claudia, was she found?
She was, Lenise and Cameron. Police say she was located safe in a different area. Now, officers say the otter named Splash was on scene and ready to deploy, but never had to enter the water. Investigators say he would have been used if the canine on the boat alerted first. Even so, officials say Splash has taken part in over 20 searches nationwide, with 6 confirmed findings.
These whiskers have a high concentration of lead.
Tonight, an unexpected search and rescue.
They said he's found 6 so far, you guys. That's wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. I would be scared to let him out in there, but I think that he has a leash or something that they put on him, because I would be afraid that look at his little eyes, you guys. Bless him. Bless his little heart. I'd be afraid he'd get swept away or something, but I do remember that, I believe.
rescue responder called out after a woman went missing in Pensacola.
Big old tail.
Police say the woman hadn't been seen since Friday, and someone reported a body may be in the water near the Mahogany Mill boat ramp. Officer Mike Wood with the Pensacola Police Department says they called Peace River Search and Rescue, a nonprofit organization in Southwest Florida, asking for help from their search otter Splash.
Once they got here, they put their German Shepherd, who is also trained the same way for detection of human remains, in the boat to go to the area that we were interested in.
Wood says the dog did not alert, so Splash wasn't used this time. But he explains what could have happened if the otter was deployed.
Once he gets down there, he's able to make bubbles, and he goes up and he chomps on those bubbles, and he gets the scent more by taste than he does smell. And then he's able to show dive teams exactly where that odor is coming from, and something that dogs are simply not able to do.
The president of Peace River Search and Rescue and Splash's trainer, Michael Hadsdell, says Splash is a 2-year-old Asian small-clawed otter and the only one of his kind trained for this work.
I thought maybe training an otter would help us bring things more over to, we'll get better recovery rates is what we were trying to do. And Splash has proven to be very good.
Hadsdell says Splash has been involved in more than 20 missions and has located 6 targets. He says they've learned a lot through his training.
It's about 2 months to get him imprinted on the target odor, which is human remains, and then from there on, he's very reliable on the odor. We just had to teach him how to work with us and trying to figure that out. No one's done this before, so we're learning as we go.
Wood says this is the first time they've worked with Splash and his trainers, but it likely won't be the last.
Hopefully we don't have another case like that, but if we do, that's somebody that we will definitely contact again.
Well, Hadsdell says they get requests daily for Splash to assist with different search operations. He tells me they're looking at training more otters next year so they can meet the demand. He also says Splash's services are completely free, paid for by donations raised to keep this unique resource available to any agency that needs it.
Tonight,
Guys, he does double work. He needs double the pay. So if they pay him in sardines, or I don't really know what an otter eats, but if they do pay him in that, he needs double because he does the work of locating people, and that's a big job. But I would say that he is also a therapy animal, really, because wouldn't it make you guys feel better just loving on him? Bless his little heart. Bless his little heart. Okay, you guys, I'm going to play us out and let us go. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. And if there's any cases that you feel that might need awareness, please reach out to me. You can email me anytime or leave a comment under this video. And if you're watching on the replay, please come back and join us during the live stream if you can. Okay, I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
They tell me I'm small, but I've learned small faith moves mountains. This platform might look quiet right now, but purpose doesn't need permission. Sometimes the smallest voices are trusted with the biggest stories. I don't got it all, that's why I pray. I lift the names when I can't find words to say. Small but mighty, walking by faith. If I can't change it all, I still believe change can start today. I don't got it all, that's why I pray. For the lost, the missing, led astray. This platform's small, but God's not contained. And we never ever know what love can do once it's shared. I'm not rich in numbers, not loud on the screen, but every case I cover got weight in between. Faces on flyers, names people forget. I speak them out loud so they're never silenced yet. I don't chase clout, I chase truth. Every live stream feels like a prayer in the booth. for the mom still waiting, the dad still searching for the families hurting while the world keeps turning. They say, what can one voice read do? But I've seen hope rise when the community moves. So I show up steady, even when it's heavy, trusting God with the parts I can't carry. Got it all, that's why I pray. I lift the names when I can't find words to say. Small but mighty, walking by faith. If I can't change it all, I still believe change can start today. I don't got it all, that's why I pray. For the lost, the missing, led astray. This platform's small, but God's not contained. And we never know what love can do once it's shared. Every time I go live, I ask one thing. Send prayers up higher than algorithms, because awareness is good, but faith goes further, and prayer reaches places we never could. I don't promise answers, I promise care. A space where compassion still lives right here. Victim-focused, truth-driven, heart-led, always standing in the gap on the hardest days. If you're watching this tide, scared or alone, I hope you feel seen through the screen in your home, because God hears whispers, not just the loud, and He's working right now, even in the crowd. So we pray for the missing every single time. We pray for the answers in God's perfect time. Small seeds planted, faith multiplied. Miracles don't need a spotlight. I don't got it all, that's why I pray. Still believing God's moving, even today. Small but mighty, called by name, and I trust what He's doing even when I can't see the way. This is Mo and Cole. Say a prayer for the missing. Say a prayer for their families. And before you go, say your prayers. Take your vitamins. And remember, even something small can do really big things.